everybody. All right, let's look at this stock a little bit so we have a baseline. Again, I probably should have brought you guys along sooner because I did a lot of work here, but there's a lot more needs to be done. So we'll just start from there. Like I said, I filled in the holes from that. This was just an abomination what the guy did here. There was a reverse perch belly, meaning a perch belly is a sway down. This was like a concave, and he tried to make a line in here in the wood and make this was like a big round proboscis looking, awful looking thing. So I filed that flat, and it's better. I can't go too much shorter because it's going to reduce my grip here. It's already on the short side. So I'm going to contour a little bit more here. I'll get rid of some of those gouges in there. I'll get rid of all that. I got to cut it, and we're going to put on a limb saver pad. I'll fit that on. I want to keep my length of pull to about 13.5. I'm actually longer than that. I have longer arms, but I like my hunting rifles to be a little on the shorter side, so when heavy clothes and such, they're not a hindrance. So I'm going to leave it like that. Up here where we have to do some fitting, if you can see inside here, there's a gap. Do I have a flashlight? Yeah, I have a flashlight. There's a gap. See the gap there? See the holes? That's the bottom metal. The rail, and that's sawdust on there, not rust. The rail is the bar. Those are supposed to touch. So I've got to remove a little more material, either out of the inletting on the top or the inletting for the bottom metal. And I'm thinking I like this top where it is. I don't want to go too much lower. I could go a little bit lower. That waffen mark there is often right at the line of the stock. So I could go a tiny bit lower with this bedding, but I'm not going to, because we're really pretty good everywhere. I'm just a little bit proud with the wood, which is fine because I can take it down. I'm just a little proud here. This is where it's uneven, so I'm just a little proud there. I can remove that, but all this looks good. We had some comments about the barrel, and you can see there's a marking there, 7.9, so 8mm. That's all that's there from the factory. There's some kind of proof mark, but that band is all that's there from the factory. This barrel was turned down. There's one of the holes from the rear sight. This barrel was turned down, removed and turned down way back when, before I got the gun. So I believe that it is a factory military barrel just turned down, which, you know, kind of explains why it's not a great shooter. All right, back on the stock. So we're pretty good. The bedding, I mean, the gap here is a little wide, but I'm not opposed to it. It needs a little bit of work, but it's going to be fine. I'm not worried about that at all. I like to have a little more room in there so that if the stock flexes under pressure of your sling or strange position or whatever, it's not going to induce contact with the barrel. It does have contact right up here, which is typical for most stocks. They're floated from the lug forward to about an inch or so at the tip of the wood, where it provides some up pressure. Generally, that's good. So I'm not going to remove that. We're going to shoot it with that in there, and we can always remove it later. So it's easier to leave it and remove it later. There's another stud, and it's got a chip out in it, but I'll fill that. And there's the dent that I did when I dropped the stock. Hopefully I can heat that out, steam it out. And then on the bottom metal, So we're going to remove more material here and drop this bottom metal in farther. So we've got a little bit of fitting, we got plenty of room, we got plenty of wood. So we're only talking about, you know, that little bit of gap there. So maybe another light 1/16. And then this is where they drilled that, I don't know, 3/4 inch, 5/8 inch hole all the way through. I don't know what the heck they were thinking. They were probably just trying to get this radius. But I'm going to fill all that, bed it with bedding compound to fill all that in. The rest of the fitting is pretty good. You know, I can live with it. It's not perfect, but it's not going to be perfect when I'm done either. So I'm going to drop that down a little bit farther so that the bottom metal meets with the action. And then I will bed this bottom metal in to the stock. And then I can remove all the material here to make it flush. And like I said, it's in need of finish. There's really nothing there. It's almost in the white. So I'm going to be able to sand this with that bottom metal in place to fit this, and then pull it out for the final. I'm not going to gouge it up or anything and remove material or sand on it, but I'm going to sand to it, up to it, and then reform and reshape the stock. I got a little bit to do at the very front, but I like the contours, and I think I like the shape I'm going to get, because it's going to be pleasing. It's already pleasing in the hand. It doesn't look great here. I can do a little bit, but I can't do a whole lot. But it's going to be okay. All right, just wanted to get a quick look at what I got, what I'm seeing here, where I'm starting from, and I'll bring you along the way when I fit more. Back here it needs a little work, but nothing bedding won't fix. I'll just bed it in a couple of steps. All right, here we go. Thanks a lot. Stand by for more. Still be out. Okay, here's some changes. I've got it flush. Got it rounded off and smoothed out. Shaped in nice. There's a little more to do here. It's a little bit proud here and here, but it's pretty good everywhere else. And I've still got to go on the top here where the action goes, where the action sits in. It's a little bit proud, but I'd rather have it a little proud and touch it up than to be shy and have to move some more material and then, you know, be too low. But it fit really good. It came down really fast. No problems at all. I was worried about, because there was a good, I mean, I took off a good 1/8 of an inch, and it improved the lines. I thought it was going to be a problem, but you know, it's nice and straight. It looks really good. So we're moving forward on this. Now I'm going to cut the butt off right there. We're taking about 3/4 of an inch off, and then the recoil pad will go on, and I'll start shaping on that. And it's easier to do when you got the stock in the raw, because you can do them both at the same time and shape everything at once. So that's what I'm going to do next. Stand by. Okay, there's the piece cut off. There's our pad attached. We've got quite a bit of grinding to do, but it's pretty easy, and it'll come off pretty quick. I'm not going to show the grinding, but I'll show you. I'll bring you back when we get it roughly shaped and pretty close. So, and it's a limb saver. It's a limb saver pad. All right, next step coming. Stand by. All right, it's a messy job, so it's out on the back porch, but we're getting roughed in. We're close, and from here on out, it's got to go really slow because we don't want to gouge into the stock. But our roughed in shape is there. It goes really quick. That was maybe, well, it was an instant for you, but it was maybe 15 minutes. But now I got to go nice and easy and slow. I got to use a smaller grit. I did touch right there, but it's not going to hurt. It's not gouged in, and it's going to have a lot more sanding to be done, especially back here. So no worries. But there you go. It's roughed in pretty close. The last will be final, slower, less grit papers. And here we are, a little bit closer. Now it's pretty much flush, and all we got to do is the final bit. It's still a little bit flared, but it's probably 85 or 90% fit to the stock. We'll do all the rest of the final fitting with the final sand on the stock. And Ellie's out here watching. Right? Good girl. All right, here we go. Let's head back down and do some more final sanding and some more fitting. Okay, here it is after the 220 sanding. Went down to 100 and then to 220. Finished off the shaping of the pad and gave it a wet down with water. So this is what it would look like with no stain and just an oil or something like that finish. And it's starting to dry, so you can see a couple dry spots, but it's got that dark patch there, which is more sapwood. And I didn't do nothing on the inside, or very little, so that's all got to get bedded, so I'm not worried about that. But we did wipe out everything, wiped everything off. Our pad is on and fit, and it looks pretty good. Length of pole should be right about 13.5, so it should be good. So it's shaping up really nice. Okay, I whisk it at one time, sanded it with steel wool, and just put it back in the stock to see where I am. How's it look? And boy, it's really looking really good. It feels really good. That extra 1/8 of an inch that I added by not chopping the full width of the pad off, I can really feel it. But it's okay. It's going to give me a little better size. Everything feels really good. It's sunk right in. So what I've got going on now is this won't open. But I didn't finish inletting the top. Remember I said I didn't take anything off the top yet. We still got proud there. So no big deal. I can file this because I don't want to take too much off. I just want to take enough for that to be relieved. Back here, the fit is pretty good. It's a little bit proud, but what I wanted to do was run the bolt to see if it drags. And I can't get the bolt in because I got to relieve that. So I'm going to relieve this here while I've got it in the stock. And then I'm going to come back, take it out of the stock and pull this off. Pull the action out and then relieve this here so that the bolt can go in and out. But it's looking really good. Looking really good. I'm thinking it's a little bit light, so I'm thinking I might stain it. I generally don't stain my walnut stocks because generally I find that they're dark enough. But wetting this one down and looking at it, it just looks a little bit light to me. So, you know, I like that richer color that's down there in that marlin stock. So I might run some stain on this. I don't know. I haven't decided completely. I got a little bit of time. I got some more to do. But our inletting is done on the bottom. And on the inside, we just got to adjust what we've got hanging out here, sticking out here, and then so that the bolt works. So that's next. I also decided on a scope. I don't know if I told you, but I'm going to go with a Leopold 1:4. I've got over here. Very X2 1:4, 20 millimeter. I've got a set of offset rings that I threw on it. And I think they're going to, offset ring on the front, I think that's going to allow it to be mounted with enough eye relief in the back. And these are medium rings. I probably could have gone to low, but when you go to low, you can't get an offset. So medium is the lowest offset you can get. And I need the offset if I'm going to go with such a short scope. And I want to keep it short and light because that's the whole reason for going back with this stock setup. To keep it short and light and make it more of a hunting gun than a tactical, I don't know what, that it was before. But we're bringing it back to what it was when Grandpa gave it to me. So he ought to be happy about that. All right, let's make some more. Let's make some more wood shavings and some more sawdust and see what we come up with. Stand by. All right, we got it relieved. I relieved the cutout for the clip insertion, and I relieved this side. And of course, now we have the bolt in the gun, and it works and runs perfectly. I had to relieve just a little bit over here along this side. It drug just a little bit, but it's all relieved now. There, I think, is our final inlet. I might do a little more here. I don't like how uneven this is. I relieved up here, so I'm thinking I might bring this down just to even that gap, because I can't do anything about the drop there. But here is where it was binding. Here is where I was sanding. I sanded this cut out here. It left a proud piece, and then I took everything down right there. So I think what I'm going to do is make a pencil line to what I want to reduce and take some more out of there. But other than that, we're starting to get picky. We're starting to get picky with the things we're doing. So everything else is shaped up pretty good. I'm really happy with pretty much everything that's on here. Our little dent here is still there, but with the relieving and the shaping that I've had to do because of removing all the wood from down here, I was able to contour a lot of that out. But we revealed a defect in the wood, and nothing I can do about it. It's wood. So it's in there, you know, nothing I can do about it. But it's in that sapwood and that's why you don't use that sapwood for stocks, because it has those kind of anomalies in it. But it's what we got. It's what we're going to use. I didn't cut this for the bolt. This was already cut, so it's not perfect. I've got to relieve a little bit back here. I don't know if I should make it bigger to match the rest of it. I don't really know what I can do here. I got to kind of think about it. But I think it's all the way down. I got to check it. It might be touching. It might be touching right there. If it is, it's not good. It's got to be hitting on that metal when it's all the way closed. And I can't tell. I think it is, but I think it's not solidly. I think it's just touching that wood. So I'll mark it and relieve that as well. And then we're just going to sand some more. Steel wool, a couple more whisker sessions, and we'll be ready for finish. I don't know that I should finish it first, or I got to pillar bed the back. And if through the camera I can see my line there, I got to get rid of that. That's a little bit harsh. I got to sand and smooth a little more there. I sanded flats on either side of the trigger here to relieve this when your hand comes in, so you're not up against anything. But it shouldn't be quite that visible. But that's easy. That's just a little more sanding. And there's a couple of marks here. It's funny how I can see more through the camera lens than I can with my eye. It really shows up in this camera lens. But that's another anomaly in the wood. It's probably drawing me to that. Open pores. But anyway, that's my target right there. I don't like that. That's a large gap and a small gap, and it looks hokey. So I'm going to fix that. All right, I'll come back. It's looking pretty good though. I'm pretty happy with it. All right, overall I would have liked it tighter, but we can't add wood, so we took it away. But it's nice and even now. That rollover's fixed. The bolt now has clearance. We relieved it just a little bit. Shaped it a little better. And it now has full clearance. I'll just check that with a piece of paper or something to make sure it's good clearance, and then we'll go on to more sanding. But I hit that edge again with 100 grit, and now it disappeared. That corner's gone, so that's better. Just little things like that, and we'll keep right on going. I feel some stuff up here, so it needs a lot more whiskering. Back here feels pretty good. And we'll just keep going until I'm ready for finish, and then I'll decide if I want to stain it or not. But I'll take you along. Almost looks like there's a little bit of a perch belly there. But, well, there is a little extra wood. But that bottom metal fits really, really good. And the screws, when I tighten these down, they go in, turn about, 4 turns, 5 turns, and then stop. This one here is a little bit more spongy, but it's expected to be because this one has no pillar. I got to make the pillar here yet. This one here has a built-in pillar, and it fits really good now. So overall, I'm really happy. It's really, really shaping up good. All right, stay tuned for the next step. All right, let's break this up into another video. We're getting over 20 minutes here, and I don't want to make this an hour-long video, so let's do this in a couple parts. So I just threw the scope on here just to see how it lined up, what it looked like, how clearance was going to be, and it looks like it's going to be fine. It does look high to me, but again, I need those offset rings, and I can't get them in low. So that is what it is, unless I change the scope, and I kind of like the idea of that 1 to 4. I got some more sanding and fitting to do, but pretty much nothing that's going to change the shape or the look of anything. I did work a little more on the bolt handle. I decided to take a little bit off the bottom of the metal because I would have made the wood really, really thin. So I polished on the bottom of the metal to remove a little bit down there, and it's a little better. It's pretty good now. I want to do a little bit of final fitting in a couple of other areas. I got to do a lot more work here on the wood, smoothing things out. No change in shape, just different grits and fineness grits of paper and steel wool to get this really nice and smooth. And then I'll probably come back and we'll do some staining and refinishing in a separate video, and then we'll do some bedding as well, separate or not. We'll see how long things go. So there we go. God bless everybody. This one is going to be a wrap. Stay tuned for the next one. CW out.